The first thing I noticed was the green bubble. It wasn't even 9 a.m. yet. I just poured my coffee, still wearing the t-shirt she got me from that brewery in Asheville. Dumb logo on the front, half faded now. I liked it. She used to like it on me. Anyway, I sent her a quick "you home for dinner" text. Bubble turned green. I stared at it for a second, thought maybe her phone died or she was in some low-signal area, but she was always on Wi-Fi, always. So I went to our shared calendar. We used it for everything: dentist appointments, birthdays, when to water the plants while she traveled. It was blank. Not just blank like we forgot to add things. Blank like she deleted it. My stomach got that cold, empty drop feeling, like when you realize you left your wallet in an Uber, or when someone you love vanishes, not loudly, just cleanly. I opened our shared Spotify next, couldn't tell you why, habit maybe. The screen loaded for a second, then said account not found. I refreshed again, nothing. She was gone. Digitally erased me overnight. No warning, no fight, just scrubbed. The weirdest part, 3 nights before that, she was curled up on the couch with me, wearing that old gray hoodie I never wore anymore because it looked better on her. Feet tucked under my thigh like she always did when she wanted warmth but not conversation. We were watching that dumb dating show she liked. Some guy proposing to a woman he'd known for 5 days. I made a joke about it. She laughed, but not at what I said, at something on her phone. She was scrolling, smiling. Not the smile you give a meme. The kind of smile that softens your whole face. The kind you used to give me when we first moved in. I remember the way her thumb hovered over the screen, stilled, then tapped something quickly like deleting. Then she looked up at me and said, "Can you pause this? I need to call my mom." I muted it, nodded. She walked to the bedroom and closed the door. She never closed the door when it was her mom. And her voice, whoever was on the other end, it was deeper, male. I sat there with the remote still in my hand, thumb frozen on the pause button. My chest felt tight, but not angry tight. Just empty. She came back out 20 minutes later, phone in hand, no explanation. She curled back up next to me like nothing happened. I didn't say a word, not that night. I remember thinking, if I'm wrong, I'll look paranoid. If I'm right, I already know. So I started watching. Not stalking, not snooping, just watching. How she started sleeping with her phone under her pillow. How she always flipped it face down. How she took longer to shower but never came out wet. How her perfume changed, something heavier, like the kind you'd wear to impress, not just exist. She never wore it around me. That morning, the morning she blocked me, I knew. Not because of the tech stuff, not because of the calendar or Spotify or the blocked messages. Because of how quiet it all was. People who are guilty make noise when they want to cover their tracks. She made none. She didn't run, she deleted. And somewhere in the middle of that silence, I realized. This wasn't a reaction, it was a plan. And it had started long before I noticed. The only question left was how long I'd been living next to a stranger, and why I still made coffee for two. People always say, there must have been signs. There were, but when someone loves you in the beginning like she did, you want to believe they'll love you that way forever. I met her at a rooftop party I didn't even want to go to. It was one of those startup mixers where everyone's wearing Patagonia vests and pretending not to be networking. I was leaning against a heater, sipping flat IPA, just waiting to leave, when she walked over and asked if I was bored yet. She had that energy, like she was both unimpressed and curious. She rolled her eyes when I said I worked in product design, but smiled when I told her I hated it half the time. We stayed up until 3 a.m. that night. She said she didn't usually give out her number. I pretended not to care. She texted me before I got home. We moved fast. First date turned into 4 in a week. By the end of the month, she had a drawer at my place. By month 3, we were splitting groceries and watching each other's laundry. I remember the way she looked in the morning, hair messy, oversized flannel, always stealing my socks. She'd make coffee and play these weird acoustic covers of pop songs, and every time she'd look at me like I was the only thing that made sense. The first time she said, "I love you," it was so quiet I almost didn't catch it. We were on the train, heading back from a weekend in Vermont. Her head was on my shoulder, and she just said it like breathing. I asked if she meant it. She said, "I don't say things I do mean." We got married 18 months later. Small ceremony. Her best friend cried during the vows. My brother told me I looked the happiest he'd ever seen me. I was. For a while we were solid. She'd text me reminders to eat lunch. Left notes in my bag, little folded pieces of paper with things like, "You're doing your best and that's enough," or "Tonight equals wine plus you." We had this stupid thing where we'd send each other gifts of raccoons. Don't ask me why, it just became our thing. When we argued, one of us would send a raccoon holding a heart, and it'd break the tension. We used to spend Sunday mornings walking the farmer's market. She loved picking out ugly produce, said it deserved a chance too. She made this soup once with misshapen carrots and lumpy potatoes. Said it was her best one because it was imperfect on purpose. And I believed her. There were nights we stayed up just talking. About everything, the house we wanted, the names we'd give our future dog, whether we'd move somewhere quieter someday. She once said, "I want to be the kind of old couple who still holds hands at the grocery store." I still remember the way she held mine, tight like it meant something. So yeah, there were signs later. But in the beginning, she made me believe I'd finally found the one person who'd never leave. That's the thing about false hope. It doesn't look like hope at all. It looks like home, until you realize the lights were on a timer, and the key was never yours. She started charging her phone in the bedroom. Not a big thing, right? Just one of those tiny changes you don't notice until you're looking back, trying to remember when things started to feel off. It used to sit on the kitchen counter overnight, plugged into the little charging dock we kept next to the coffee maker. I'd wake up first, always did, and sometimes I'd peek at her screen not to snoop, just to see what alarm she set. Little things, normal things. Then one morning it wasn't there. I figured maybe she forgot, but it stayed that way, every night, face down tucked behind her pillow. I didn't say anything. Then there was the laugh. She had this laugh, soft, a little raspy. It was mine, I knew it. I'd heard it from across crowded rooms and smiled to myself. But suddenly she had a new one, higher, sharper, almost performative, like something she practiced in the mirror. And it always came out when she was on the phone. Sometimes she'd be in the kitchen with her AirPods in, stirring tea with one hand, smiling like she was listening to the most charming thing in the world. She'd say something like, "Stop, you're so stupid," with this giggle that didn't belong to the woman I married. I'd ask who was that. She'd shrug, "Claire from the office." She always said it too casually, like she knew I wouldn't push. I used to tell myself I was being paranoid, that work stress was messing with my head, that not everything needed to mean something. But one night I came home early, client canceled last minute. The apartment was dark except for the glow from the living room. She was on FaceTime, curled into the couch, hoodie half off her shoulder, laughing. That laugh. Then the screen shifted, and I saw his face. Just for a second, blurry reflection in the mirror behind her. I froze at the door, just watched. She saw me and fumbled the phone so fast it hit the floor. She scrambled to end the call, acting like it was nothing. "Just a coworker," she said, breathless. What kind of coworker calls you at 7 p.m. on a Friday? She didn't answer, just kissed me on the cheek and asked what I wanted for dinner. I didn't press, not that night, because deep down I already knew. After that, I started writing things down, not obsessively, just tracking. Because she'd started saying things like, "You already told me that," when I knew I hadn't. Or, "You're misremembering again." It was always said gently, sweetly, like she was worried about me. So I started journaling, just dates and details, conversations, things I said, things she did, because if I didn't, I'd start to question myself. One night I brought up that weird FaceTime, told her it stuck with me. She smiled, touched my hand, and said, "Babe, I think you're just tired. You've been so stressed lately." She made me tea, sat with me on the couch like nothing was wrong, let her knee rest against mine. And I believed her. Sort of. But I still kept writing. Another time, I noticed she posted a selfie at her office desk, but the time stamp didn't line up. She said she was slammed at work, stuck in meetings, but her calendar had been cleared. I had access. She forgot I still had access. When I brought it up, she tilted her head, smiled, and said, "You're really spiraling today." That's when I stopped asking. I just started watching everything closer. How her voice softened when she answered unknown calls. How she started sleeping with one arm across her stomach, like she was protecting something. How she changed the passcode on her phone, not once but twice. I caught her texting under the table one night, said she was checking an email. The screen reflected in her wine glass. I saw a heart emoji. Then it disappeared. And the worst part, she wasn't cruel. She didn't yell or lie outright. She was kind, quietly kind, the kind of kind that makes you feel crazy for doubting her. That's how you know it's real. When betrayal doesn't show up with a slammed door or a screaming match. It shows up in subtle shifts, in the way they stop asking about your day, in how they change the playlist in the car, the perfume they wear, the way they laugh. Not all at once, just enough that eventually you realize you're standing next to a stranger, and they're still holding your hand. It was Spotify. Of all things, it was that stupid music app that cracked it wide open. I hadn't planned on checking it. I just opened my laptop one morning out of habit. Our shared account was still logged in. I used to make playlists for us. Drive to the coast, cooking plus cheap wine, us in autumn. I hadn't touched them in months. But this time, I noticed a new one. Title was just a single heart emoji. No name, no description, just that. Curious, I clicked. It was full of songs I didn't recognize. Heavy on synths and bass, stuff she used to call stripper music when it played at parties. But they weren't just random. They were curated. One track stood out. A remix of that weekend song we used to hear on the radio every Sunday on the way to the farmer's market. She'd always change it, said it was too much. Now it was top of the list. Something about that hit me harder than it should have. I scrolled down, looked at the account info. She'd created it under a different username, one I didn't recognize. But the birthday attached to it. Hers. I checked the public playlists on that account. One was called Nights with R. I don't know why I clicked, maybe I already knew. The thumbnail was a hotel hallway photo, dimly lit, familiar. Because we'd stayed there before. Our honeymoon. She was reusing our memories, dressing them up for someone else. That's when I started connecting things. The change in her laugh, the new perfume, the way she always showered when she got home from late meetings. I opened her Venmo next, not even trying to hide it now. 2 steak dinners from a rooftop restaurant she told me was too loud for date night. Heart emoji in the note. I went quiet. Just sat there, staring at the screen, while the sounds of our apartment played around me. Dishwasher humming, clock ticking, the smell of her shampoo still faint in the hallway. Then I remembered something. She'd sent me a picture once, A mirror selfie from a hotel bathroom said the lighting was weird but flattering. I'd brushed it off. I pulled it up. Same tiles as the hotel in that playlist photo. Same stupid orchid arrangement on the sink. Only she wasn't alone in the mirror. At the time, I hadn't noticed it. But now, clear as day, a man's arm blurry in the reflection behind her, tattooed. Not mine. I couldn't breathe for a second. It was like something was sitting on my chest. Still no yelling, no throwing things, I just sat there. Her laptop was in the kitchen. I opened it, logged into her Instagram drafts. She never signed out of anything. There it was. A photo of her on a hotel balcony. My old flannel shirt, sleeves rolled to her elbows. She always said it was too big but kept stealing it anyway. Only this time it was buttoned halfway down, more for show than warmth. And in the glass behind her, another reflection. Same guy. Caption, something about this view. She never posted it, just saved it. I scrolled through her saved posts, a whole folder called him. Quotes about passion, secret love, finding someone who sees you completely. I should have been furious, should have screamed. But all I felt was hollow. Like the air had been pulled out of the room. I closed the laptop. Sat in the kitchen with the lights off for a long time. Her perfume was still lingering on the coat she'd tossed over the chair, that heavy scent she never used to wear. It smelled like the hotel hallway in the playlist photo. I walked to the window, looked out over our street. People walking dogs, kids on scooters, a couple holding hands laughing. Normal life happening. While mine quietly split in half. She came home that evening humming, hair slightly damp, told me traffic was awful, kissed me on the cheek. The same mouth that kissed him that morning, I knew it. I didn't say a word. She asked if I wanted Thai or sushi. I told her either was fine. Then I watched her walk into the bathroom, phone in hand, typing. Probably to him. And in that moment, I realized something. It wasn't just that she cheated. It's that she did it while still wearing my shirt. Still eating my food. Still living inside the life we built, with no intention of telling me. That's what gutted me. Not the sex, not the lies. The ease. How easily she looked me in the eye and called this marriage. How easily I believed her. I didn't confront her. Didn't slam the laptop shut. Didn't scream, gotcha. I just got quiet. Real quiet. There's a silence you reach when the last ounce of doubt leaves your body. It's not calm, not peace. It's colder than that. Like the click of a lock behind you. That night, I waited until she fell asleep. Her breathing slowed around midnight. Her phone was under her pillow again, face down. I didn't touch it. I walked into the kitchen instead, made tea I didn't want, just needed something in my hands. Then I opened my laptop, made a new email under a different name. Set up a new bank account, just in mine, clean, legal. We had one joint account for household bills, savings, basic stuff. Not a ton of money in there, but enough. I transferred half. Not because I was leaving her. Because I knew she'd already left me. Emotionally, physically, digitally, I was just the last one to get the memo. The money was just a seatbelt, in case she tried to crash the car on her way out. Next, I changed the passwords on our cloud storage. All the shared photos, documents, years of little things. I backed them up for myself, then archived everything she might go looking for. I left the wedding album untouched, thought about deleting it. But I didn't. Let her decide whether to keep the illusion. The streaming services were easy. Canceled Netflix. Changed the Hulu pin to my childhood zip code, the one she never remembered. She texted me the next day. Hey, did the login change? I stared at the message for a while. then just replied, "Yup." She sent a sad face emoji. That was it. Like our marriage was buffering. Over the next few days, I pulled back, just enough for her to feel it but not name it. She'd walk into the room and I wouldn't look up. She'd ask how my day was and I'd say, "It's fine," then go back to reading. She called me cold, said something felt off. I told her I was just tired. She believed me. That's the thing, when someone spends enough time rewriting history, they stop noticing when the present changes under their feet. A week later, I made one move that didn't touch her directly. Didn't invade her privacy, didn't call her out. Just nudged the story. I logged into our joint Facebook page, the one we barely used. Mostly pictures from vacations, tagged dinners, old birthday posts. I uploaded a single photo from our 3rd anniversary. We were sitting at a rooftop bar. She was leaning into me, laughing, my hand on her back. We looked happy. Caption was simple. One of us meant it. I didn't tag her, didn't mention her name, but it was our joint account, same last name, shared friends, enough breadcrumbs to choke someone if they were paying attention. I went to sleep that night like someone who'd locked the front door after hearing footsteps outside. Next morning, I woke up to a flood of notifications, comments, DMs, texts from mutuals saying, "Hey man, you okay? And what happened?" But not a word from her. Until about noon. Then everything went dark. Her number blocked me. Instagram blocked. Spotify, Venmo, shared calendars all vanished. I just stared at my phone. No anger, no shock. Just confirmation. That post didn't expose her. It confirmed her. The guilt was already there. I just held up a mirror. She moved fast, I'll give her that. But what she didn't realize, and what most people never do, is that blocking someone doesn't erase the damage. It just tells them they were right. And now the game had changed. I didn't want revenge that looked like fire. I wanted the kind that looked like clarity. The kind where she'd wake up one day, scroll through her apps and realize she no longer had access to my life. But I still had the keys to hers. She didn't expect me to be early. Most people don't expect the quiet one to be prepared. She filed for divorce like it was just another task on her to-do list. Drop off dry cleaning, refill prescription, end marriage. She probably thought I'd be blindsided, scrambling, angry. But I was already 2 weeks ahead. I'd met with the lawyer before she even filed, the same guy who helped us draft the prenup. Back then she insisted we write one, said she just wanted to be fair. I remember thinking that was love. Now I know it was strategy. She made sure to include clauses about the apartment, the car, even her retirement savings. But she forgot one thing. Crypto. I got into it after we were married. Nothing wild, just small trades, steady growth. It added up. And she didn't touch it, never asked about it, probably thought it was all monopoly money. The prenup didn't cover post-marriage digital assets. My lawyer smiled when he saw that. So when I responded to the divorce filing, I signed everything she wanted, the apartment, her car, full division of household stuff. I agreed to all of it. Except the assets not outlined in the prenup. No mention of my crypto. I didn't gloat, didn't even write a statement. Just sent over the paperwork, quiet, clean, bulletproof. The next day she called. Blocked number. I didn't pick up. She emailed an hour later. Subject line, "Are you serious?" Body, "You're really going to do this to me?" I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I replied with one sentence. "I'm just following what we agreed to." No signature, no emotion, just that. She didn't respond. 2 days later, I got a message from a mutual friend, her name redacted, but I knew who it was. said she was struggling with the process, that she didn't expect me to be so distant. Funny, she'd been emotionally gone for months. I guess the difference was, now I was gone too. She started testing the edges, trying to see if I'd react. A vague post about people who show their true colors when it's too late. An old photo of us in her Instagram stories, visible for 24 hours, then gone. But I didn't take the bait. That's the thing about power. Real power isn't what you say. It's what you don't respond to. And silence. Silence is a weapon people don't see coming. I made one last move. I pulled up our shared cloud drive, the one we used for taxes, receipts, paperwork. There was a folder she'd added a year ago, dream home ideas. Paint colors, kitchen tile samples, baby names. I downloaded it, then deleted the folder. Not out of spite, but to close the chapter. Digitally, emotionally. She noticed. Messaged me a week later, "Where did the house folder go?" I replied, "Didn't think we were building anything anymore." No reply. That was the last message she ever sent. And that's when I knew she finally felt it. Not just the loss of me, but the loss of control. The difference between her and me. She played her hand for attention. I played mine for closure. And I didn't need her to see it happen. Because when the dust settled, she didn't win. She just walked away before the scoreboard lit up. She didn't handle the silence well. First came the indirect routes. Messages from her friends. Little check-ins. "Hey, just thinking of you." Or "You doing okay with everything?" They were friendly on the surface, casual. But I knew the tone. It was the kind of casual that carried questions under the hood. I didn't respond. One of them even sent a photo of us, an old one from a trip upstate. Caption, "Found this today. Wild how time flies." I left it on read. Because that wasn't nostalgia, that was bait. Then came the shared friends, the ones who didn't pick sides or pretended not to. "She's been off lately," one of them said. "Seems like she regrets how things went down." I nodded, said nothing. They waited for me to ask more. I didn't. Because I didn't need her regret. I needed my peace. And I had it. She started posting more. Brunches, yoga classes, photos of sunsets with long captions about growth and healing. None of it had me in it, but all of it was about me. That's how you know someone's unraveling. When they start narrating their own life too loudly. She even tagged a quote once, "Some people will never admit what they lost, but they'll feel it." I almost laughed. Because she had no idea how much I'd already taken back. Not money, not revenge. Just space. And in that space, I didn't miss her. I missed the life I thought we were building. I missed the quiet moments, Sunday mornings, her hand on mine at stoplights, the way she used to mouth the words to songs she loved. But her, the version of her that came after all that. I let him keep her. I didn't need to prove anything, didn't need to defend myself to people who already knew. She told some friends I'd changed. Said I wasn't the same anymore. She was right. I was. I was done. The last time I saw her was at the grocery store, 3 months after the papers were finalized. She was in the frozen aisle, reaching for something. Paused when she saw me. No words, just a look. I nodded. She opened her mouth like she wanted to say something. I turned and walked away. Not because I was angry. Because there was nothing left to say. She'd spent so long lying between two lives, she forgot which one was real. I remembered. And I chose the one that didn't include her. Quiet, still, whole. And free. Someone asked me, months later, if I missed her. I didn't answer right away, because the truth takes longer to say when it isn't dressed in anger. I said I miss who I thought she was. Not the woman in the apartment, not the phone turned face down, not the laugh that wasn't mine anymore. I missed the person who used to wake me up with forehead kisses, who danced barefoot in the kitchen while burning toast, who once cried in my arms because she thought I'd stopped loving her and meant it. But even that version of her, I think she only lived in snapshots. Moments, flashbulbs. Everything else was performance. That's the part no one tells you. Betrayal doesn't just break the relationship. It breaks the timeline. You stop trusting your own memory. Was she lying back then too? Or did she become someone else? I don't have an answer, and I've stopped needing one. Grief doesn't shout after a while, it just settles. Some days, it's a quiet sigh when I hear a song she used to hate. Other days, it's nothing, just stillness. I kept one photo of us from the wedding, not because I miss it, because I want to remember what trust looked like before it shattered. There's a look in my eyes, unguarded, stupid maybe, but real. I never want to forget that I was capable of loving like that, even if she wasn't capable of keeping it. These days, I move different. I ask more questions, I watch the edges, but I don't wall myself off. Because I didn't do this to me. She did, and I survived. There's peace in that. I'm not bitter, I'm not broken. I'm just done. And there's a kind of strength in walking away without needing to be seen. No revenge post, no final text, no scene in the rain. Just the quiet kind of closure that says, I saw everything. I felt everything. And I still chose myself. This is Revenge with Camden. If you've ever been betrayed by the person you trusted most, hit subscribe. You're not alone.